YouTube family, what's good? Yo, let's kick it. So right here, I'm looking at this video that has no noise. It might have noise. Maybe it's just my phone. I don't know. But Neil Armstrong practicing in a vacuum chamber before his Apollo 11 mission. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but this makes me laugh. I'm looking at his cloth or his composite astronaut suit, his space suit, where he's going the same space suit that apparently he conducted his Apollo missions in, right? And inside this vacuum chamber. Now, I know of one vacuum chamber, the vacuum chamber, right? It's known as the Sandusky Laboratory, aka the Neil Armstrong Center, right? And this is out in Sandusky, Ohio, where they conduct their vacuum tests. So these vacuum tests, the most that they could go up to, it's rated at what? 1 × 10⁻⁶ torr. The only problem with that is this. Let me show you. The only problem with that is this. So I asked the question, what's the vacuum of space, right? And then they gave me this answer. I was given this answer. The vacuum of space is incredibly powerful at 1 × 10⁻17 torr. The vacuum between the Earth and the Moon is 1 × 10⁻11 torr. Now that in itself is a problem. That right there is a problem. I don't see how people can't see that right there is a problem, okay? Why is that a problem? Well, let's figure something out. Let's at least try and figure something out. So we send these jokers up into a place that as soon as you leave 1,000 feet, as soon as you leave 500 feet, you start losing air pressure. You start off-gassing. Human beings begin to off-gas, right? It's kind of like being in a dive column. When you're underwater, you begin to off-gas. When you leave the bottom from wherever you dive, you start releasing gas, right? Because you've taken on pressure. So basically the same remains when you're on the surface, right, at sea level, and then you climb up in altitude, you start to off-gas, right? You basically start to boil. So what you do in an airplane is you fill the airplane up, you press it down, and you have it replicate sea level, right? So that way you're not boiling. So that way you're not off-gassing or off-gassing so rapidly that you wind up getting bent because you've climbed too high in the air column, right? A bunch of things can happen. Your lungs give up because they don't have enough pressure to take that blood and to squeeze that O2 into your body. Anyway, a lot of stuff happens. I'm not going to give you guys a total science lesson, but this is not possible. It's not possible. The Sandusky/Neil Armstrong Laboratory place is rated to 10⁻⁶ torr. Moon is between 10 to the negative, or rather on the way to the moon is 1 × 10⁻11 torr. That's a problem because that's not possible. Not to mention the fact that as soon as you send the freaking space shuttle to space, that itself is a bubble. I'm not even mentioning human beings inside of a dang spacesuit or human beings themselves with all our cavities, right? The space shuttle itself is a bubble. But I don't understand how people can't remember these things. I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy in the world. I know I'm not. But these are questions that you just need to ask yourself. How did they replicate the Sandusky Laboratory in space? The answer is they didn't. They never did. They couldn't have. How did they do it? How do you get 10⁻11 torr, 10⁻17 torr? How do you do that? Everything off-gasses. Us as human beings off-gas. Metals, they start to fuse and they make they bond themselves like a cold welding. They bond themselves with enough lack of atmosphere to where they fuse together. How do they keep the metals from doing that? All these systems have wires. All these wires have a varnish. All these varnishes, once they get up inside of lack of atmosphere, once they hit a certain vacuum point, they begin to off gas as well. Not just us as people, but those metals. those wires and the sheath around the wires as well. Those begin to, come on, man. Those things begin to off gas too. It's crazy. Everything, nothing could survive damn near that the craziness. Forgive my lack of English, but nothing could forgive the craziness that's a lack of air pressure, or that is the vacuum of space. So how did those objects survive? Because I know human flesh and blood ain't gonna make it neither. It doesn't make no sense. But they still keep pushing this BS and this lie to you that these men made it even close to what the moon is supposed to be. This is why the level Earth is so important. Because as soon as the rest of you yokels can see that the level Earth is true, it's a real thing, it pulls the rug from underneath all these lies. Anyway, YouTube, that's all I got. I'm gonna let y'all ride. I'm gonna let y'all do y'all's thing. I wish y'all nothing but the best. Health, wealth, love, joy, prosperity, but most of all, wisdom. With that, I'm out. Peace.